The dark feels closer now, not heavy, just near. Nothing asks me to move, nothing pulls me clear. The body knows where to land before the mind can understand. Every thought that tried to stay has learned to fade. I don't track the quiet down, I don't ask where I am now. If the night is standing still, I will. I don't search for rest to come, I don't count when I'm undone. If my breathing finds its way, I stay. I don't need to follow sleep, it already knows me. I don't need to cross a line or drift deliberately. Every moment loosens grip, every signal falls asleep. I don't need to follow sleep. The room dissolves into tone, edges softer than before. Every sound becomes a floor. I don't fall. I used to wait for letting go, like it needed effort though. Now I let the quiet be enough for me. I don't tell the night to start, I don't guard the fragile parts. If the dark is closing in, I'm in. I don't need to follow sleep, I don't have to try. I don't need to lose control, I don't need goodbye. Every question slips away, every thought forgets its shape. I don't need to follow sleep. Maybe rest is standing still long enough to feel. Maybe sleep is what arrives when I don't decide. No direction, no release, just a gentle decrease. If I'm gone between the lines, that's fine. I don't need to follow sleep, it's already here. Nothing left I need to keep, nothing left to fear. Every breath becomes a place, every moment slows its pace. I don't need to follow sleep, I don't need to follow sleep. If I wake, I'll wake again. If I don't, the night will end. Nothing pulling, nothing deep. I don't need to follow sleep. The doors open and the motion loosens, air changes tone. I step down into standing ground on my own. The platform holds my weight again, still exact. The ride continues without me intact. People disperse in practice lines, purpose returns, but I stay one breath longer and learn. I don't rush the landing, I don't mark the time. I let arrival finish in my spine. I step off and the day knows where and I do too. The street feels firmer than before, her edge is precise. Morning light sharpens gently, not twice. Sounds separate into clear distances, near and far. The world regains its structure, bar by bar. My breath adjusts to standing still after the ride. I notice how arrival widens the inside. Not every arrival needs applause, not every stop an end. Some places receive us quietly as friends. I step off and the day knows where I am before I begin, before the hours decide what I'm in. I don't armor myself with purpose, I don't assume. I step off and the day knows where I am, and I move through. I remember how I once believed that arrival meant switch, that once I reached the place I had to pitch. Now I feel how standing here is still between, how beginnings can remain gentle and clean. Remaining grounded after motion doesn't slow my pace. It lets me meet the day face to face. Feet still, breath real, motion gone, presence here. Noise forms, I stay. I step off and the day knows where I am. Not sharp, not new, I let the place recognize me as I move through. I don't force myself into the moment, I don't assume. I step off and the day knows where I am, and I become one. Whoa, ground steady, light clear. The day starts, I'm here. Still, sleep, still. Just still, just sleep. Nothing fast and nothing steep. Just still, just sleep. Night is wide and night will keep. Lights are low, the room feels right. Every sound is small tonight. Just still, just sleep. Everything is slow and deep. Still, sleep still. Body warm and body still. Nothing more I need to feel. Nothing moves and nothing calls. Night is gentle on the walls. No more thinking, no more play. Night is here and here will stay. Just still, just sleep. Close my eyes and drift in deep. Sleep. curtain close. Night is gentle on the walls. No more thinking, no more play. Night is here and here will stay. Just still, just sleep. Close my eyes and drift in deep. Still, still. Night so still. Breath moves low and easy. Still, still, still. Night so wide. Sleeping with the dark beside. Still, still, still. Night so still. Breath moves low and easy. Still, still, still. Night so wide. Sleeping with the dark beside. Still, still, still. Holding me while I sleep. Sleep, sleep, soft and kind. Nothing left to look behind. Stay, stays wide, night stays still. Nothing more and nothing will. Night stays wide, night stays deep. Everything is made for sleep. Still sleep. Morning opens on its own. Nothing forced and nothing shown. Light is even, here is clear. The day starts without effort here. I don't plan the first few steps. Everything is quietly set. The desk is still, the screen is clear. Nothing urgent enters here. Light rests softly on the page. Same calm tone, the same calm stage. I don't push and I don't steer. Let the day begin right here. There's no switch I need to call. Nothing here feels overfull. I don't signal, I don't test. Morning starts without a press. The day starts without effort. No resistance, nothing extra. I don't hurry, I don't wait. Everything aligns its way. Time moves gently, wide and slow. Focus stays where it should go. The day starts without effort. This is how the calm stays steady. Coffee rests beside my hand, like it understands the plan. Outside hums in distant tone. Inside stays completely known. Thoughts appear, then gently rest. Nothing here needs to be I don't gather, I don't choose. Let them move the way they move. I don't measure how it flows. Morning on bloody moss. Nothing here needs emphasis. Like the starving main, like this. The day starts without effort. No resistance, nothing extra. I don't hurry, I don't wait. Everything lies its way. Time moves gently, white and slow. Focus stays where it should go. The day starts without effort, as if however comes, stay steady. Continues food and vibe, no resistance left inside. Element with what is near, not distracted, not sillier. Breathing even posture light, attention stays within sight. In this calm I clearly see Jesus carrying me. I don't need to step the praise. This alignment holds its place. Every quiet moment spent keeps the balance permanent. Life remains and so do I. Neither rise and neither shine. This is how the morning stays. Starting work in gentle ways. The day starts without effort. No resistance, nothing extra. I don't hurry, I don't wait. Everything aligns its way. Time moves gently, wide and slow. Focus stays where it should go. The day starts without effort. This is how the calm stays steady. Morning keeps it in tone. Nothing forced and nothing shown. Calm remains, the work goes on. The day starts without effort at The room hums at a lower volume. Pots rest, water waits. I move through the kitchen slowly. No need to negotiate. A chair receives me without comment. The table doesn't mind whether I cook or only sit. The evening is kind. Light gathers closer to the floor. Corners soften their tone. The house begins its quiet work of letting me be home. I don't hurry the comfort, I don't name the calm. I let the evening settle as it comes. The evening asks nothing from me, no answers, no proof. I don't bring the day back up, I don't review. I let rest be ordinary. become part of it. My body lowers its defenses, shoulders finally drop, breath finds a deeper place and stops trying to stop. Thoughts loosen their uniforms, they sit where they fall. No task is waiting to recruit them, no call. Not every night needs meaning, not every calm a plan. Some peace exists simply because it can. The evening asks nothing from me before night takes shape, before the dark rearranges the edges of the day. I don't rush toward rest, I don't assume. The evening asks nothing from me, and I stay true. I remember how I once believed that stillness had to earn its place at the end of effort, its turn. Now I feel how rest is not a reward, it's the quiet condition I ignored. Remaining here without agenda doesn't dull my mind, it returns me gently to my own time. If later the night feels long or the silence feels wide, I'll remember how the evening stood by my side. No signal marked this softening, no sound told me when. I simply noticed nothing was asked and relaxed then. The evening asked nothing from me, not even release. I let the hours rest beside me in peace. I don't fill the quiet with effort, I don't assume. The evening asks nothing from me, and I move through. Soon I'll eat or wash or rest, soon the night will start, but I will know how the evening began by not asking my heart. My feet touch the floor without ceremony. No cold shock, no command, just a quiet agreement between weight and land. The ground feels solid, forgiving, like it's been waiting here, not to move me forward, just to make me real. Light reaches lower now, finding corners near my feet. The day feels closer to the body, less idea, more heat. I don't stand into purpose, I don't brace or lean, I let the balance find me in between. The floor meets me gently before the day takes shape, before I give my hours anything to chase. I don't step into momentum, I don't run. The floor meets me gently, and I become one. The house house responds in small ways, a shift, a sound, a creak, each one acknowledging that I'm awake. Outside the morning keeps moving without asking for my part. I watch it through the quiet from a still start. My thoughts feel heavier now, but steadier too. They arrive with less urgency, less to prove. Not every beginning is allowed, not every start fast. Some days begin the moment we finally stand. The floor meets me gently before the rush begins, before the world assigns me all the ways to win. I don't rise into readiness, I don't assume. The floor meets me gently, and I stay true. I remember how I once believed that standing meant commitment, that once my feet touched ground there was no amendment. Now I see how even standing can be soft and kind, how direction can arrive after I arrive. Remaining still for one more breath doesn't hold me back. It teaches me how movement can be intact. If later the hours feel crowded or my steps feel quick, I'll remember how the floor didn't ask me to pick. No signal marked this starting line, no sound told me when the day began, the moment the ground held me again. The floor meets me gently before the world takes pace, before the light turns moments into something I must face. I don't step into urgency, I don't run. The floor meets me gently, and I become one. Soon I'll walk into the day. Soon the streets will know my name, but I will know how it began. With the floor the same. The room releases one small edge, not enough to fall. Every shape stays where it was, just less tall. Lights don't change their temperature, they widen just a bit. Nothing here is letting go, it loosens grip. No blur entering my sight, no pull toward losing light. Every thought still knows its place in space. The focus doesn't leave, it softens right where I am. I don't lose what I was holding, I just relax my hand. The focus doesn't leave, it softens clear and slow. I stay awake inside the seas and let it flow. The bass breathes once between the lines, still steady underneath. The drums wait longer than before, but don't sleep. A melody stays closer now without a claim. This is how the night exhales without a name. The focus doesn't leave, it softens, and that feels right. I don't trade my clarity for a quieter night. The focus doesn't leave, it softens, I stay exact. Awake, aligned, and present in this act. If the stillness grows a tone, I don't call it on my own. Nothing fades because it rests, nothing breaks because it bends. There's a strength and gentle hold that keeps the center bold, just enough ease to remain sane. Outside holds the same deep shade, inside shifts by choice. I reread something unfinished, it still has voice. This is where endurance lives without strain. I don't ask the night for less, I remain. No heaviness behind my eyes, no need to compromise. Breathing even, posture straight, aware, awake. The focus doesn't leave, it softens, and I remain. Nothing pulls my clarity out of frame. The focus doesn't leave, it softens, still intact. Awake, aligned, and steady in this fact. Focus softens, I stay.
The color deepens on the wall, not fading, just more honest. Nothing asking for attention. The light knows when to stay. Chairs don't move as much now, cups stay warm a little longer. Every sound has learned its place and keeps it. I don't hurry through this hour, I don't save it for later. If the glow is holding still, I stay with it. I don't ask the time to bend, I don't name this as the end. If the warmth remains a while, I allow. The light knows when to stay, it doesn't rush away. I don't need to hold the moment, I don't need to make it stay. Not a pause, not a sign, just a well-timed state of mind. The light knows when to stay. Windows soften every sound, even silence feels less round. Every thought that ran before walks now. I used to think this part of day meant choosing what to say. Now I let the moment speak for me. I don't close the afternoon, I don't step into too soon. If the day still wants to breathe, I let it. The light knows when to stay, nothing slips away. I don't need a clearer answer, I don't need to rearrange. Everything is still aligned at at a slower kind of time. The light knows when to stay. Maybe calm is not a fade, just a deeper shade. Maybe beauty doesn't leave, it learns to ease. No announcement, no release, just the glow the way it is. If this moment wants to last, I let it pass slowly. The light knows when to stay, and I stay too. Nothing calling me ahead, nothing left to prove. Not the night, not the end, just the day learning to bend. The light knows when to stay. Soon the sky will change its tone, but it hasn't gone. If I'm still right here, that's enough. The light shifts color on the wall, not dramatic, just sure. Afternoon releases its grip and becomes something more. Shadows lengthen without asking, the room exhales its shape. The day loosens another layer without escape. My hands slow in small agreements, not stopping, just kind. The work feels less like effort now, more like closing a line. I don't rush to name the change, I don't chase the glow. I let the warmth arrive naturally and show. The light turns warmer, so do I. Not soft, not weak, I don't trade presents for nostalgia. I don't drift, I let the evening approach gently. I don't assume. The light turns warmer, so do I, and I move through. Thoughts carry longer echoes now, they don't collide. Each one finds its place to land, then steps aside. Time feels more faded here, still usable, still near. Minutes look back as they pass without fear. My posture adjusts instinctively, less guarded, more open. I notice how the body knows when the day is turning. Not every ending announces itself, not every shift of sound. Some transition arrive as light, changing the ground. The light turns warmer, so do I, before the work slows down. Before the evening teaches another kind of calm. I don't cling to the afternoon, I don't assume. The light turns warmer, so do I, and I stay true. I remember how I once believed that evenings meant decline, that energy only moved one way in time. Now I see how warmth can carry strength, how the later hours have their own length. Remaining here with softer edges doesn't undo my ground. It lets the day finish speaking in a fuller sound. If If later the light fades quickly or the quiet feels new, I'll remember how the warmth passed gently through. No signal marked this turning, no sound told me when. I simply noticed the color change, then deepen. The light turns warmer, so do I. Not fast, not slow. I let the day prepare me for what comes after the glow. I don't hold the brightness tight, I don't assume. The light turns warmer, so do I, and I move through. Soon the lamps will take their place. Soon the day will rest. But I will know how the evening began, with warmth, not less. The task no longer introduces itself, it's already here. My hands move with learned certainty, clear. The room fades to functional edges, light, desk, breath. Everything else steps aside in depth. Keys fall into a familiar order. Thoughts thin and aligned. Nothing interrupts the rhythm of time. I don't widen the focus, I don't narrow it down. I let attention rest where it's found. The work deepens without a sound. No signal, no sign. I don't notice the hours passing, I stay inside. I let concentration hold its shape. I don't assume. The work deepens without a sound, and I do too. Problems open when approached gently. No forms required, its solution steps forward. Unfired, reading becomes a kind of listening, writing a calm reply. And it's alright without argument. Why? My breath remains low and uncounted. Shoulders forget what tension once felt like and said. Not every depth is dramatic, not every focus tight. Some clarity arrives quietly out of sight. The word deepens without a sound. Before fatigue returns, before the mind remembers other turns. I don't push last longer. I don't assume the work deepens without a sound, and I move through. I remember how I once believed that deep work looked intense, that it had to announce itself with sense. Now I feel a steady absorption builds more, how silence around effort opens the door. Remaining here without commentary doesn't trap my mind. It gives thinking a cleaner space to find. Beat tight, adjust, refine, breath steady, time go. The work deepens without a sound, not heavy, not new. I let the task complete itself as I move through. I don't mark the depth with effort, I don't soothe. The work deepens without a sound, and I become one. Light and change, noise low. The work continues below thought. Sidewalk shining after rain, every step feels less the same. I catch you looking back at me like we both already see. We walk a little closer now, like it's nothing, like it's fine. Every joke lasts longer, every pause feels kind. I don't check my phone as much, I don't rush the day to end. Funny how the smallest things start to rearrange my plans. I won't say it out loud yet, but I feel it in the way. Every room feels easier when you're in the frame. We're smiling before we know what we're calling this. Every laugh is giving us away more than we admit. We're smiling before we know, before the words are said. If this isn't something yet, it's already in our heads. You tell stories with your hands, I listen like it matters. Not because I'm trying hard, but because it does. Time moves weird when you're around, fast and slow at once. Every maybe turns to stay without being discussed. Oh, I don't ask where this will go, I don't need to name the ground. All I know is when you laugh, I don't look away. We're smiling before we know how we got this close. Every glance is doing things we never meant to show. We're smiling before we know if this lasts or bends. But right now, in this moment, that doesn't matter yet. Oh, maybe this is how it starts. Not fireworks, just these two people standing still enough to feel the shift between. I don't rush, I don't stall, I just let the moment fall. If someone asked me how I feel, I'd probably laugh it off. Not because I'm scared to say, but because it's obvious. We're smiling before before we know, before the labels land. If I reach for you like this, you'll understand. We're smiling before we know, and maybe that's the truth. Some things don't need a headline, they just start with you. Streetlights flicker, evening grows, still we walk a little slow. No big claim, no afterglow, just smiling before we know. The table is clear, not empty, just free of needing more. Hands rest without reaching, like they've learned what they're for. Light settles where it lands, no reason to explain. Every object in the room feels loosened from its name. I used to grip the moment, afraid it wouldn't stay. Now I see how time remains when nothing's in the way. This is when nothing needs to be held, no future in my hands, no memory asking for weight, no place I have to stand. I don't keep it, I don't bind it, I let it go. This is when nothing needs to be held, and I know. Outside the world rehearses its reasons and its pace, but inside this softer margin, everything has space. I don't guard the quiet now, I don't turn it into rest. Some calm arrives uninvited when it's not addressed. Not every moment asks for care, not every second grip. Some truths stay closest to us when we loosen our grip. This is when nothing needs to be held, before the pull begins, where I am not protecting what I haven't named within. I don't frame it, I don't fold it, I let it show. This is when nothing needs to be held, and I know if later I forget this ease, I'll trust it still exists. A calm that doesn't disappear, just waits to be dismissed. No effort made it happen, no strength kept it near. It came the moment I allowed my hands to clear. This is when nothing needs to be held, no answer in my chest, no proof demanding permanence, no fear of what comes next. I don't carry, I don't claim it, I let it flow. This is when nothing needs to be held, and I know